The new NBA and MLB season is in full swing, and BetOnline has you covered with the best odds and biggest promotions and live in-game betting on all your favorite teams. Head to BetOnline today to stay updated on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Eventually, you can only make pants so wide. That became our Achilles heel. Teenage fashion trends ebb and flow like the tides, with styles oscillating from uncool to cool and uncool again in the span of a single school year. One such style pushed the limits of denim itself, pitting stupefied adults against counterculture teens for a few fateful years in the 1990s. That is, until the cruel fashion fates cast their gaze upon gigantic jeans, rendering them obsolete, much to the relief of parents nationwide. What exactly would inspire a company to start selling jeans with 70-inch leg holes? With annual sales topping $200 million at their peak, they have proven that big jeans can be big business. And that's why this week's On Brand is on JNCO.
We're all jazzed up, nearly having a cow. You want your favorite show, and it's on right now. It's on Brand.
Welcome to On Brand with Jon and Marisa. I'm Jon.
I'm Marisa.
Okay, so we're doing giant jeans. I did not see that coming.
This is a curveball.
This is definitely a curveball. I don't have any personal relationship with this brand, but I definitely have a history of relationship with jeans and pants.
Yes.
I'm assuming you're a fashion girl, so you probably are these jeans. You are. You've done like the whole thing. Like you did that thing like they do in Sex and the City where you can like rent cool clothing.
Yes, I have a crate coming in the mail tomorrow.
Do you? Do you still do it?
Once in a while is a special treat.
That's fun. Yeah. So for people that don't know, it's like you can get like really cool outfits, wear them for as long as you want, send them back. So you're always kind of changing your wardrobe.
Yeah, you do a fun thing where when I show up to like hang out and I'm wearing something like fun and cute and new that I'm really excited about, you go, cute outfit, rented.
Rented. Clearly rented. I know your husband. He's not letting you buy all these clothes.
I need a sugar daddy.
Babe, we all need it. That's what I thought Al was going to be, and then he just ended up being our podcast producer.
I know, what the heck?
So I'm excited to get into this. Again, I know very little about it. I have some thoughts.
I would say you either love it or hate it, but I don't know nobody in our demographic who currently loves JNCOs.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to hate it. Like I feel like there's a lot of things about denim and jeans that I just don't like, period. Like,
yeah, for me, it can go so wrong. Like I can love like James Dean's ass in a pair of Levi's 501s.
3 minutes into the show and you're already horny for more buns.
Compared to like denim can get so repulsive if done wrong.
Definitely.
And I think JNCO is definitely in a playful, and we don't like to be haters if anybody's a JNCO fan listening.
No, but I'm also not going to pretend I'm like, whoa, those are super cool.
It's all in good fun.
I'm going to need to pull up a picture. But before we get into that, can I just tell you, first of all, before we come into a pod, I kind of like, I don't plan a lot about banter, but I'm like, come up with a couple bullet points. I'm going to talk about Taylor Swift's new album. I got the signed copy. There's a heart on it. These are the things I was coming in with today. About an hour ago, one of the most disgusting things, probably top 7 disgusting things happened to me that's ever happened in my life.
Oh my God.
So before I came over here,
What could it be?
I was at home.
Eat a bug.
Yeah. Yeah, like you just stole the punchline. So I'm like getting ready to come over here. Every day I make an iced latte. I have like a thermosy cup that has like a little lid with a little like drink hole.
I love that now everybody listening is going to try to guess. Like the more you go through the story, it's like, where's the bug? Was the bug in the drink lid? Was the bug in the cup? Okay, where's the bug?
Well, I kind of hate that you ruined it because I was thinking about how I was going to describe it. So I had my iced coffee from earlier this morning and I'm getting my stuff ready to go, and I pick up that cup to put it in the sink, and it's like, oh, there's still some coffee in here, and it's
full
like
of bugs.
there's like there's ice in it still because the ice lasts forever. I take the world's smallest sip, and out in that little hole comes a little bit of coffee, and then what feels like a good-sized lint ball, like a Briar-sized lint ball, and
Briar.
like a little, like, you probably don't know, you're not from I think they're from like a Midwest thing. They're like, you go through the woods and you get these little briar patch
Yeah,
stuck
I've heard
onto
of a
your
briar
like
patch.
sweaters and socks and stuff. Stickers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Regionally, everyone has a different name for these little weeds that stick to your socks.
Right. So anyway, I get this little thing in my mouth and it's like fuzzy and I start to bite down on it and it makes a little crunch. And something was like, don't bite down. And then like the last hour of my life flashed before my eyes. I was like, I came home, I sat on the couch, I was eating lunch. I remember a fly flying around the house while I was watching TV. That fly got in my coffee and it's in my mouth right now. And I spit it out and a giant black house fly
Oh my God.
hits the ground. And it was so repulsive that I like crunched its body with my teeth.
You know, in 100 years, we're all going to be eating bugs.
Well, let's save it for them because I'm definitely not going to be around in 100 years. So more power to them. I guess I got to jump on it, but I was so grossed out by it.
That is so horrifying.
Yeah. So that's.
I've never eaten a bug that big. I've eaten like little teeny bugs. Like, you know, you'll be laughing at a wedding, outdoor wedding. A little bug flies in your mouth.
Babe, if you laugh like that, a bird could fly into your mouth.
Yeah, you eat a hummingbird, you bite down, you feel the crunch of a hummingbird.
Hummingbirds are so small. I had hummingbirds.
I think it'd be the easiest bird to accidentally eat.
Well, definitely. They're the world's smallest birds. If you're going to eat any bird.
Only bird that can fly backwards.
The only bird that can fly backwards. Did I ever tell you my hummingbird story?
No.
Okay, I have a few, but this one.
You have a few hummingbird stories.
I have a few hummingbird stories because I get hummingbirds on my porch. I put out hummingbird feeders. A few years ago, I had a hummingbird make a nest right above my door on my like string lights. So like every time I opened the door, the mother would fly away and then I would go inside and she would come back. Like the cutest little eggs. They were they're like peanut M&Ms.
Don't accidentally eat those.
I didn't eat those. But anyway, so I got this bird feeder and I had it on my porch and I kept getting hummingbirds and I was obsessed with taking like a really cool picture of them. I became like a National Geographic photographer. I would stand motionless on my porch for upwards of 20 minutes, but like I know that they do it for like days, but like
Same.
I would just stand there and eventually a hummingbird comes, I snap a bunch of photos, it leaves, I look at them, I still to this day get goosebumps with how beautiful this photo is.
We have to share those pictures on our Instagram.
I think that the photos are so beautiful that I wrote. You remember Smith and Hawken?
Yes.
The like garden company.
Yes, I get their catalogs.
They ended up going out of business and being absorbed by Target. But they were still a store. I wrote them and I was like, hey, I bought your hummingbird feeder. Just wanted to show you like this beautiful picture I took.
In case you need some cover art for your newest catalog.
Yeah.
I'll sell the picture for a price.
Yeah, for a penny. This could be yours. I thought that they would be interested in it. I got much like with the Suzy Q's and Hostess, a very like cut and paste reply from them, like,
Horrible.
Thank you for your interest in our products, blah, blah, blah. Like I thought at least whoever it was, Mary on the customer service desk would be like, you guys come look at this picture this guy sent. This is so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. Nothing.
What a missed opportunity, because when I get a personal response from a brand, say I work there, I work customer service, I'm doing the emails at Smith and Hawken, I would say, oh my God, Jon, that is so beautiful. Aren't hummingbirds the most special creature on the earth?
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, wow, I'm talking like a real woman. I've connected.
Yeah.
I'd be like, this photo is so gorgeous. I'm going to share it with our team.
Yes.
And we'll let you know.
You don't need to let me know, but just like I'm going to share it with the team. Like, let me know that you're a human being.
Yes. It goes, I would be a customer for life if I got that response from anybody.
You know what I'm realizing as we talk about this story? They went out of business.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Payback's a bitch. So, yes, I did get my signed.
The last laugh.
I got my signed Taylor Swift album. Now, that I will put on Instagram.
Okay.
I got the coveted. There's many different Taylor Swift autographs you can get. You can get some that you can tell are very hurried, some of them that are more detailed.
Some are signed by the monkey.
None of
You don't think they can train a monkey to do her signature?
Taylor Swift is too controlling to let that. She wants.
She can control a monkey.
People say that sometimes you'll find like a coffee stain or a paw print or like cat hair in the CD or vinyl because she's just sitting in bed doing these all the time.
Monkey hair.
Sometimes you'll get a heart that's attached to the last letter of her name.
Uh-huh.
The most coveted is the detached Taylor Swift heart.
Okay.
That is what I received.
Thank
a beautiful
God.
signature, about an inch. Don't do that. don't do that. This is special.
Did you rub it in the noses of all the Taylor Swift fans on the message board?
I thought you were going to say, did you cry?
Did you cry?
I cried. No.
Did you really? What did you say out loud in your home when you opened this?
Nothing. You'd be surprised how silent my home is. I don't express myself verbally much unless I'm talking to Alexa.
And yawning.
Or yawning or yelling at my neighbors upstairs.
That's really exciting, Jon. I'm really happy for you.
Thank you. And I will post a picture. It's a very special thing.
That's huge.
It's like my 9th Taylor Swift autograph. Okay. All right.
You can't share something like that and not expect a reaction.
I still don't consider myself a Swiftie.
Okay, so after hearing everything you've heard, you can let us know. Is Jon a Swiftie? 9 autographed Taylor Swift albums.
Okay, fair enough. We'll do a poll.
Fair enough.
All right, so let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Let's slip into the denim.
This denim would certainly be easy to slip into.
Okay, I'm going to take a second. I just need to see what these look like because I want to make sure that I'm understanding exactly what we're talking about in this episode. Good God. How did we get here? Your brands seem to go back to like 2008 and mine all go back to like 1740. Are these still out? I feel like this is what people wore in like 2002.
Well, yeah, they had their heyday and then a swift fall. So their peak was in the 90s.
Okay, but are they back?
There are attempts at a revival. They are technically they are still for sale on the website. Do you have any memory of seeing people wearing? Because there were some knockoffs. JNCO was like the big name in big pants, but there were some knockoffs gradually. Do you remember seeing anybody wearing JNCOs in the 90s?
Definitely. I mean, it's definitely a silhouette that I remember. It was nobody in my friend groups that wore them, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, I wore cape, so I'm not like. I'm not like we were cooler than them. We all picked our fabric and did what we wanted with it.
You needed a lot of fabric, whether it was a cape or a jean. You
Yeah.
just needed a lot.
But yeah, there was something, it was just like too much denim. And I guess now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't realize that it was a brand. I thought it was a style. So like Levi had their big legged pants and whatever, but now I'm learning that it's an actual brand.
Yes, there were other brands that dabbled in the big legs, but JNCO was, as I mentioned in the opening, their biggest leg was 70 inches. So that's, over 5 feet.
That's a big leg. That's a big leg. It's like, I feel like something that should happen once in like runway, and then for normal humans, it's tailored down a lot.
Yes, that's like the avant-garde version of it. That's the Met Gala.
Yeah, it's the Met Gala one.
So it's funny to think of these like teenage ravers like wearing such a Met Gala look to like go to Spanish class. I think of when pants were bigger, because now obviously pants have been skinny for a long time. Now they're getting a little less skinny, but for a long time pants were skinny. But prior to that, if you remember, pants were big and they were long and they were dragging through puddles, soaking your jeans up to the knee with like brown muddy water.
I went through years of wearing the wrong length of jeans, and the back of my jeans were always completely frayed, like the bottom were completely frayed, and exactly what you're saying. They were always damp and dirty and disgusting.
The back hem, your heel would step on it so many times that it would create a hole between the hem and the calf part of the pant. And then I remember you think, well, the pants are still good, but now I have this hole. It's like stuff's getting stuck in it. So you try to cut it off, and then you have this weird like inch hem that kind of like goes up in the back, and it's all frayed and torn, and everything's just so filthy.
Yeah.
It was a pretty disgusting time, I guess, for jeans.
I'm now at a point in my life where I wear these Levi jeans that I found a couple years ago. I love the fit. I love the color. They went on sale. I bought 5 pair. Like, wow. I feel like I just have like a uniform now.
That's great.
For
You're
my
like Steve
jeans.
Jobs.
I am like the Steve Jobs of on brand. I would say these with the giant flared legs, and then the people that wear jeans that they go, like you see their whole butts. Like I feel like such a grandpa right now, but like you see their whole bottom. And like it's fine if you want to do that. I've never understood how they stay on.
You're talking about boys. So they'll have their underwear, like boxer shorts will be on underneath. And then the jeans, I mean, they were talking about this when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
The jeans go down below the butt. So you just see the full bottom.
Full bottom.
Full booty.
Full, like, cotton boxer booty. Yeah. I just don't know how. I never could figure out. It seemed like more work to keep those on than it would to just have cover your butt with a belt.
No belts in sight.
But the big thing for these was like taking, I assume in the meeting when this company came about, it was like what, the 90s?
1985.
1985. Okay, 1985. So we're like 7 to 10 years outside of wearing the
bell bottoms.
Yes. So they're like, we still have all these big pants. What can we do with them? Make them bigger. Let's just make them bigger and see what happens. We'll throw them out to the public. It had probably the appropriate amount of lifespan.
It could have been somebody who was working the bell-bottom factory who, like, fella started to doze, and then the lever that said, like, size of bell, you know, was, like, pointed, like, all the way towards him, and then as he was falling asleep, he kind of, like, pushed it, and it, like, pushed all the way to the back.
I love that. Like, that lever, they thought the maximum lever for that was, like, 12, and then he falls asleep, he accidentally pushes it. It's, like, the classic, like, the bells start, the steam starts coming out, like, this can't happen.
It's adding a bunch of zeros to the circumference. Yes, I think that's exactly
You see all this sewing machine, the needles, like, over-threading and all this, and then all of a sudden you have this pair of very ugly pants.
And then he thinks he's in trouble, but then the boss comes down and then he's like, you're getting a raise.
This would make, I mean...
a fictionalized version.
A good movie.
It's a movie about JNCO Jeans that is not based in any reality.
No, it would have one of those things like how I got so duped by, do you remember that movie Precious?
Yes.
Oh, yes. My God. Here is a brand rant. Precious. I go and see Precious. I thought that the movie said Precious based on a true story.
We all fell asleep after based on, and we all thought it was based on a true story.
So you go and watch this movie, and all these terrible things happen, and you're like, well, it really happened. I mean, I can't say anything. Wow. And then, like, it actually turns out it was based on a novel, like based on the real events of a novel.
Based on the novel Push by Sapphire.
Oh, God, don't get me started. All right, I've derailed too much. We've gone off topic, as you know we tend to do.
Started at JNCO, now we're talking about Precious. We're ranting and raving about Precious. I'll take you through a little bit of the timeline. I'll disappoint you that it wasn't a sleepy factory worker who kneeled on the zeros on the bell-bottom machine. It was actually began in the 1980s. So these are Moroccan-born, French-raised brothers. So this is already kind of, this feels like very, there's a lot of mystique to it. These are
very sexual
brothers, Chaim, Milo, and Jacques Riva. And I actually have had a really hard time finding pictures of these guys. They're very like out of the spotlight. I can't speak to them how hot they were, but I will.
That's your thing. How can you have two hot
French
big
brothers?
French Jean brothers? Now Al's going to be on the case. We will have pictures by the end of the pod.
Their dad owned a denim business in France, so they were always kind of adjacent to the fashion industry. They were always interested in American fashion. So they started a company called Rivatex, which was kind of like one of they were in America at this point in Los Angeles. This was like an early fast fashion brand. So they had a factory in LA, which was kind of rare at the time, that could turn around a design into production in 8 weeks. So normally that would take months and months. So they were able to kind of like turn over these really like hyper trendy pieces really quickly before they could not be trendy anymore. So
maybe there's a reason it takes so long.
It should.
Maybe you get better things if you spend more time.
Yeah, maybe have like 3 more meetings.
Yeah.
Before you go.
I think we're piecing this together as we go. It sounds like Hazinga number 1. Not enough time. All right.
So Rivatex was able to get into, this is their company, Rivatex, was able to get into a U.S. mall chain that I was actually not familiar with, Merry-Go-Round. Do you remember Merry-Go-Round?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, Merry-Go-Round, Chess King, I think it was called.
Interesting.
Back when Abercrombie & Fitch was not like a hot boy store. It was like a log cabin store.
Wow.
Like they sold like flannels and stuff. Same with Banana Republic. Oh, Banana Republic. Talk about pants I never got that I always wanted. The Banana Republic pants that zipped into shorts. Like you could unzip the whole like bottom leg. I thought those were the coolest thing.
What do you do with the flaps?
I always wondered. They came with so many pockets. I'm sure you just stuff them in a pocket.
Yeah, Banana Republic for a while. That would be a fun brand to talk about. It was like clothes for going on a safari.
Yeah, 100%.
Just like, why are those being sold in a mall? Like, what is the... Obviously, they had to change into like women's bank clothes if you like work at a bank, because they were like, let's see, do more women go on safaris or work in banks? I think they work in banks. Okay, that's our vision now.
Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With a large selection of odds on everything from Major League Baseball, NHL, and UFC, and professional golf, BetOnline remains the number one source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline's casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
If you're looking to streamline your audio advertising buys and maximize your revenue, look no further than Triton Digital's programmatic audio advertising exchange, A2X. The private exchange consists of only licensed broadcasters and top-tier internet radio publishers, assuring the quality inventory and brand safety you can trust. Visit www.tritondigital.com to learn more.
Well, just to give you just a quick vision of Merry-Go-Round,
Yes,
it was
tell me.
very much like, it feels like, looking back on it, feels like a store of disposable 80s clothing, like cheaply made things, but like fun. It was like, do you know the show Facts of Life?
Yes.
Do you remember how at the end they were running that like store over our heads?
Yes, they had a boutique.
And they just sold like fun, like giant Swatch watch clocks and like that. It was of that time.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That
like-
really explains a lot because they were able to get into merry-go-round stores, but they were 1,500 stores to sell their fast fashion. So that makes sense if you're talking about like hyper trendy, super 80s, cheaply made. That definitely tracks. You might have bought a Rivatex shirt in the 80s.
Probably.
Everything that they made had the merry-go-round branding put on it. So nothing said Rivatex. It was like very much like a Trader Joe's model.
Right.
So now we're in 1985. The brothers, they're living in LA. They have their Rivatex factory. They're doing okay with merry-go-round, but they don't have anything that's like has their name on it. They often go for walks in East LA to get inspiration for urban designs, and they notice a lot of Latino men are wearing wide-legged denim pants. So they have $200,000 in savings, and they have the idea, $200,000. Does that feel like a good use of $200,000 making giant pants?
They come to California, see people wearing really ugly pants, and like, hey, bro, I think I know how I want to spend that money.
You know what would make these pants better? If they were 4 times as big. They had the idea to create their own line of gigantic pants under the label JNCO. JNCO, can you guess what this stands for?
JNCO, JNCO. Just naughty. Just naughty. Oh, jeans. No. I don't know.
It's funny because there was a lot of debate online, and I was even in the Wayback Machine. I spent a lot of time in the Wayback Machine on this episode, which is so exciting.
Is there any better place to be than the Wayback Machine?
I could drop out of my regular life for 6 months and be exclusively in the Wayback Machine.
Just pretend I'm on the internet in 1993.
It is really soothing. So I found there's a lot of, even now with articles about JNCO, which there are many, a lot of controversy over what it stands for. And even among JNCO themselves, they're kind of a mysterious brand. As I mentioned, I cannot find out how hot these guys are. I cannot find out what JNCO stands for. Some people say Journey of the Chosen One. Some people say Jeans Co. I wrote to JNCO.
You did?
I got confirmation.
You pulled a John.
I pulled a John. This is one of the theories of what it stands for, and it is true. I got confirmation from Kim. Judge none, choose one is the answer.
Judge none.
Judge none, choose one.
What?
It is absolutely meaningless.
It's nonsense. It's like, and who's Kim? I picture Kim at this point. Kim is definitely working from home.
Yes.
She's sitting on her bed. This is the first email that JNCO has gotten in 7 years. And so she has to like text a few people. They're all on a Slack. And they're like, hey, someone's asking about this. What should we say? And they're like, they probably just came up with a few things themselves.
Well, and if you Google it, that is one that pops up among Jeans Co. and Journey of the Chosen One. So I don't know. It might still be a mystery. But even, as I mentioned, even vintage JNCO website had Journey of the Chosen Ones on their website as what it stands for. So it's very mysterious, like these pants themselves.
I do love that the first part of it is judge none. Like they know that people are going to think these pants are so ugly. They're like, okay, well in the motto we'll say don't judge me for these pants.
But what is the choose one?
Well, you don't need more than one. You buy one pair. Don't judge me. I bought one pair of these stupid jeans. Don't judge me. We all jump on fashion trends.
You can't possibly go back for a second.
No one's got the space. Where are they going to put all that denim? You have to buy like a separate chest just for this pair of pants.
Your bureau is absolutely busting. So the brothers recruited graffiti artists, including some with arrest records. So they were trying to make this kind of like a really edgy, urban, appealing to kind of like rebellious teens, to make advertising for them, print ads, to paint murals where teens were congregating. So like outside Southgate High School cafeteria, they had graffiti artists tag JNCO logos and like JNCO murals. Mm-hmm. They had like embroidered patches on the pockets to design the patches. This sentence I can't stand. I'm going to read it verbatim, but it's not going to sound like I wrote it. So I'm confessing I'm just reading it.
I'm already shaking my head no.
Having earned his stripes with Graffiti Crews Society's Daredevils, as well as UTI, using the imagination. These are graffiti guys of the
urinary
80s.
tract infection. That's what UTI is.
Clearly somebody who doesn't have a female urethra, if UTI isn't on his radar. This guy named Nuke. He designed the logo, which is a 4-pronged crown, instantly bringing credibility to the brand. Would finding out that Nuke designed the logo give credibility to the brand for you, do you think? If you were in merry-go-round?
I would say, listen, believe it or not, when I did see the 4-pronged crown, I did wonder if it was a nuke. If it was an original nuke.
This has Nuke written all over it.
Nuke. Everything about this is so dated.
It's so not for me.
Nuke is like the name of like a bad sitcom character from the 80s. Like the bad boy who's only in like one episode.
Who the dad is like, you cannot be hanging out with Nuke.
Nuke got me on drugs.
It's a very special episode about Nuke.
Yeah.
Nuke breaks down crying. He's in over his head.
He gets in a car accident. He almost dies. We never see Nuke again on the show. We learned our lesson.
Nuke in a hospital bed. He's in a coma. She needs to clean up her act. She can't hang out with Nuke anymore.
Yeah.
So the brothers' connection to the mall chain merry-go-round was the perfect launch pad, so they could use the store as one of the key retailers, which would ignite the brand. So now JNCO's went from absolute obscurity to being in 1,500 merry-go-round stores nationwide. So, but still, the growth was steady. People weren't on board with giant pants right away. It's taking about a decade for them to really start finding their audience. It's like ravers, it's club kids, skateboarders. Yes.
It's a very niche thing. And I feel like even with those subset groups, like it's a specific person that is confident enough to wear that.
You have to really feel like you can pull it off.
All of those people are probably very successful now because they had to have a lot of confidence.
That is really interesting. If you wore JNCOs in high school, did that confidence take you to the top of the corporate ladder now at 42?
We're going to find out Steve Jobs wore JNCOs. Elon Musk wore JNCOs.
I wouldn't be surprised. By 1995, their sales annually were $36 million. So they haven't found their groove yet. They haven't reached peak JNCO.
Okay. I know I keep interrupting a lot.
No, I love it.
It's 1995. Mm-hmm. These are starting to get popular.
They're starting to.
I don't know if you came across this in your research. Mm-hmm. Was James Cameron ever considering having someone on the Titanic wear JNCOs?
That's a really good question. Or a collab, because nowadays they do collabs. It's like Crocs by Pringles. Nowadays, do you think they would have done a Titanic by JNCO?
They actually did a collab for Titanic with that J. Peterson company. Do you remember J.P. Peterson?
The suit company?
Yeah. They sold they sold Leonardo DiCaprio's out. I wanted it so bad. Oh
my God.
The little suspenders and the
one that we saw on the auction? That Leonardo DiCaprio, those were the actual ones. Things. But it was that look, the suspenders and the little old-timey pants, old-timey jacket. Yes, my God.
I know.
eBay.
They were so expensive at the time, but man, they were so cool.
Oh my God. That reminds me of the American Girl doll. Are you familiar with that company at all?
Oh God. I only am into I know that they're very expensive.
Yeah, they were expensive back then, but you could buy in the catalog, you could buy an old-fashioned dress or an old-fashioned nightgown or old-fashioned clothing to match the doll. And I so desperately wanted to show up to school and dress like I was from the 1780s. And it reminds me of that. Imagine you and me in high school and you're dressed like Jack and I'm dressed like Felicity.
Oh my
fresh
God.
From the farm.
Dream.
God, I'm so sad we weren't friends in high school. So at this point, despite JNCO's success, Merry-Go-Round is filing for bankruptcy.
I'm not surprised. That seems about right.
They, in a matter of months, had to close all 1,500 of their locations. It was one of the largest retail bankruptcies in history.
Wow.
So by 1996, they were liquidating all their stores, and they were offering steep markdowns on unsold inventory, including JNCO. So this was kind of interesting because you think, oh, is that maybe like diluting the brand? But it turned out to be a silver lining because all those JNCOs were being sold at a discount, were snatched up by boutiques who resold them for a regular price, introducing the jeans to a whole new market. So these like fire sale JNCOs were now getting like dispersed among boutiques, getting them into a new audience who may be a kid who never walked into a merry-go-round to see the big jeans and think, oh, that's interesting. I'm seeing those for the first time.
Right. If they're going to carry these at this little boutique that I like so much, maybe there's something to them.
Absolutely. So this is kind of like the customer now is the raver. It's like the pacifier, you know, the little baby doll, the candy necklace.
I hated everything about that. I'm of that time.
Yes.
And was around those things.
Did you like those kids, that look?
I mean, I had friends that were into that, but like the whole pacifier thing I hated. Like, I remember having to like not know where we were going out that night because it was like a secret. Like, no, like you had to like call a number and like get a thing and to like go to a warehouse. And like it was such a, that part of it was actually kind of fun. But like the accessories of that time, I was not a fan of.
Just even that idea of getting a phone number where a party is and going to a warehouse is so of a bygone era that now if you wanted to do that, you would have to pay like $99 to an escape room.
Yeah.
And like, wouldn't that be fun? $99 and it's like just one night in the 90s. They take your cell phones. It's like, call this number. This is the party we're going to.
It'd be the 1 week where my cell phone usage goes down because I didn't have my cell phone for 3 hours.
Put on these JNCOs.
Put on the JNCOs.
Oh my God, that would be wow.
Get your little pacifier. Why are we at God, I hated those.
Yeah. What was that? Was that for like rolling on E?
I think it had something to do with rolling on E.
I've never done really any drugs. You and me both.
I can't say that everyone at this table hasn't, but you and me both we're not we don't really partake.
No.
I won't go into any more details.
We're pretty dorky. So now they are in these new stores. People are kind of getting JNCO on the radar, and the brothers realize they need to keep adapting. So they hire a man named Steven Sternberg, and he successfully made Bum Equipment a big name in clothing. Do you remember Bum Equipment? B-U-M? Al, did you own a big Bum t-shirt in the 90s?
I did not own Bum, but I definitely am aware of the brand.
We know about Bum. It was a big name in clothing, and he had some advice for JNCO, and that was to pay more attention to the suburban market instead of just the urban market. So the urban market, it was kind of like very street. It was very music, hip hop influence. They're saying you need to go suburban. You need to be in the Billabong, Quicksilver, Middle America universe. So that is essential to the survival of the brand, is like keep evolving. This like kind of like skater, surfer, aesthetic that was popular in the 90s. And I remember, I mean, I actually lived in California. I didn't know that Quicksilver and these surf brands like made it outside of California. But like people in Ohio, in Oklahoma were wearing like surf clothing.
Yeah, because it's so kind of like the fantasy of where they want to be. It's like it makes it cool.
That's so funny.
It's like Ocean Pacific from my day.
OP? No, I know OP. Massimo. Yeah, definitely. So to prove his point, because the French brothers, hot or not, I don't know. The French brothers were.
Wait, can we check in real quick? Al, have you found a picture of them? We can't.
They're
find
scrubbed.
It. Wow.
They're scrubbed.
Now I feel challenged.
I love that.
Now I feel challenged.
So to prove his point to the hot French brothers, or not hot, I don't know, Sternberg went to a surf trade show in Orlando and set up a JNCO booth at a hotel across the street from the convention. He took orders for $120,000 worth of big pants from skate and surf shops. JNCO had officially gone suburban.
That's insane. And all I could think about while you were saying that was, if that was today, like it would be like an Insta moment. Like if there was like a JNCO pop-up, what if it was like just a giant pant leg that
oh my
you
God,
have to like
I love
go
that.
in? Like
I love that.
A 500, the biggest pant leg that they could make.
They should try to get in the Guinness Book of World Records for biggest pant leg.
I mean, I don't know when our good ideas are going to stop.
If they haven't done that yet, what are they even doing?
What's happening, Kim? Can you write Kim tomorrow?
I will.
I'll come up with a drawing.
Sketch.
Pop-up idea number 1.
So now JNCO is springing up at cool mall shops everywhere. We have Pacific Sunwear, now known as PacSun, Hot Topic. You ever noodle around in a Hot Topic?
This is so freaking crazy.
Why?
I was on the Hot Topic website yesterday.
Why?
Because it keeps showing up in my social media feed with these cute retro Star Wars shirts.
Okay.
I was on the Hot Topic website
God.
yesterday. And last year, bought my most complimented sweater at PacSun.
I cannot imagine that you are the target demographic for PacSun or Hot Topic.
I felt like my own father going into PacSun. Like, I'm looking for the Keith Haring sweater. Online, it said you had one left in XL.
Oh my God, how funny.
That is so funny. I do shop youthfully.
Did they have your Hot Topic Star Wars t-shirt? Did you get it?
I didn't end up buying them. They keep popping up, though. They're really, like, pushing it.
Isn't that funny when you visit a website or you get an ad and you kind of, like, doodle around on it a little bit, and then they keep being like, still interested. I saw this caught your eye. Perhaps you'd like to give it a second glance. And then I swear, after I'm shown it 6 times, I'm like, I have to buy it. I have to buy it.
I don't give in like that. I hate it when they're like, did you forget something? Has life gotten too busy? Don't forget, there's something in your cart. I do like it when they get desperate and send a coupon, though.
Sometimes
but
they do.
The Hot Topic website was one of those ones where, like, everything in the store, 30% off, and there was a clock at the top, only 7 hours left, and it's ticking down. I'm like,
It's very jigsaw saw, like, you have, like, time is ticking before, like, you have to cut off your own leg. I hate it.
I know, and I went through all the Star Wars shirts, and I wanted like 4 of them. I wanted a Jar Jar Binks one, shockingly. I know. I felt like it was so nerdy enough now that, like, to wear a Jar Jar Binks shirt would be cool, but the only one they had, there was like 2 pictures of them on the front. It was like designed poorly.
John bought a Jar Jar Binks shirt from Hot Topic. I don't know if I can ever say that sentence. That might kill me.
Love your Jar Jar Binks shirt. Oh, this grabbed it at Hot Topic.
Where are we?
I'm an old man.
911. Whew, okay, so now it's the 1990s. This is like a heyday for shopping for kids. I think clothes are they're starting to get really cheap. The stats are, in the 1990s, 31 million teens were going shopping an average of 54 times a year and buying 8 to 12 pairs of jeans annually.
Good Lord.
I think I buy a pair of jeans every 2 years.
I no longer. Well, now I've got my
You're stocked up.
Yeah, but I used to buy a lot, and I like most of my life I've been like heavy, thin, like all different weights. So if I found something I liked, I would buy it in every weight that I knew I might be. So I would buy like mediums, large, extra large. It was a mess.
You have like a bunker of pants.
Yeah. Why does he have 9 of these Jar Jar Binks shirts? You never know if I'm going to be carrying extra weight.
I want to be prepared.
I want to be prepared to wear Jar Jar at any size.
Jar Jar at any size?
Jar Jar at any size.
Jar Jar at any size.
Hello, sharks.
So we're talking about the pants. We're talking about how big they are. Just for some context, typical jeans have a cuff about 16 inches in circumference. What's your head again? 25?
25.
Okay, so we'll use your head as maybe a benchmark.
Okay, great.
Typical
I feel like
jeans.
Charlie Brown right now.
Typical jeans have a cuff about 16 inches in circumference with pockets are 6 inches deep. That's a standard, like, Levi's jeans. And speaking of Levi's, when the Hot or Not Hot brothers were conceptualizing these pants, they were kind of going intentionally like anti-cool, using Levi's as the benchmark of what they're not going to do. Like, we're opposite Levi's.
Zynga.
The most popular JNCO style had a 23-inch circumference of a cuff, but the company offered versions exceeding 40 inches, 60 inches, 70 inches. Some pockets were 17 inches deep.
Oh, God.
A JNCO leg was so wide and hung so low to the ground that the cuffs would completely obscure your shoes and drag on the sidewalk. So this was fun. I found a fun pocket of a subreddit, like a nostalgia subreddit, of things you could fit in JNCO pockets. Like, people are reflecting on like things they did when they were younger.
I was already trying to picture. I was like, can you fit like my 13-inch laptop in there?
You probably could. These were all people talking about the 90s. So somebody said, my buddy shoplifted a gallon of Sunny D in one of the back pockets just to see if he could. Turns out he could. Somebody carried a full bottle of rum onto a cruise ship in the late 90s in their JNCO shorts back pocket. Other things kids put in JNCO pockets: a full-size bag of potato chips, completely unscathed, no chips broken.
Wow, back when a bag of potato chips was like actually large.
Absolutely. Cartons of cigarettes, 2-liter bottles of soda, a Nintendo. You could fit anything in there.
Did you, in your research, come across anything saying that there was a spike in sneaking people into movie theaters?
Hiding in the legs?
Yeah.
I'm sure it would be possible.
A kid on each leg, just holding on.
I'm sure. I mean, yeah, why not? I mean, it's an update on the trench coat.
Wow.
I love that. So teenagers, they not only responded to the dramatic effect that these jeans had on people, but they kind of enjoyed that these were a status of counterculture. So it was like the more adults hated them, the more kids liked them.
Right, that makes sense.
Schools around the country, many of them started to ban JNCOs, so that kind of like added to a taboo rebellion. I think they just were suspicious about what kids could fit in there. Like, what are they hiding in there? What are they sneaking in those legs? They didn't like that.
Did you ever wear anything banned? I wore something banned
What'd
once.
you wear that was
I almost
banned?
don't want to say because it's so old.
What?
I wore a Spuds McKenzie. Do you remember Spuds McKenzie?
Yes.
I wore a Spuds McKenzie shirt, and they had banned those, and I had to put tape over it because he was a spokesman for beer.
You had to put tape over Spuds?
I think over the name Spuds McKenzie, and maybe the dog. I think I just had tape all over my shirt.
That's like when you had pierced ears and you had to put Band-Aids over your ears.
And why didn't they just have me turn it inside out?
That's a really good question.
Ohio.
So now they're in these new markets. It's like skating, it's surfing, it's like sponsorships of BMX riders and skateboarders. Extreme sports are I feel like extreme sports kind of had their peak, like late 90s, X Games. Mm-hmm. They used breakdancing teams to promote JNCO at underground raves. It was very like edgy, alternative, punk, skater, extreme. And a 1998 survey conducted by Teenage Research Unlimited would not be a fun place to work.
Oh my gosh, that sounds made up.
Teens named JNCOs the 12th coolest brand, behind companies like Nike and Tommy Hilfiger, but ahead of Calvin Klein and Mountain Dew. I love that it's not brands of clothes, it's just like anything. Any
brand. I bet Mountain Dew is much higher now.
It's funny to think of JNCOs as being like, they're not as cool as Tommy Hilfiger, but they're definitely cooler than Mountain Dew.
Yeah, those I've seen surveys like that where they try to like dissect what teens are into. When I was working on a documentary about cigarettes, and like all the big tobacco people had run like, this is what the modern American boy likes. Uh-huh. They like wearing mixed styles of denim. They shop at the Gap. And like, I love when adults try to break down the mind of a teenager.
I could do that as my full-time job, just interview teenagers for surveys.
That and the Wayback Machine, man, we're set.
I'm busy. Hold my calls.
An unpaid podcast, we're set for life.
So this is 1998 and JNCO was pumping. They want to start a boys' clothing line. They're turning to television to try to make an animated children's show featuring an extreme sports hero created by JNCO's graffiti artist. At the time, this was an article from 1998, and they said it will air next fall. So I think that maybe some executives gave that the axe, but at the time, people were optimistic that there would be a JNCO cartoon. I mean, what are we doing?
What is that? I feel like that always happens. Like they always try to move, I guess, just to get the little kids to like into the brand, but they always try to do an animated series.
I know. And then like what, JNCO Man action figures. It's just like, it's terrible. So 1998 was their best year ever, with the sales approaching 200 million. Just 1 year later, sales dropped by 50%.
I mean, 100 million is still good.
A year after that, they shut the factory down.
No. That's not as good.
So how does that happen? Well, JNCO had too many orders to keep up with demand.
What?
Forcing some retailers to get back to school stock late, not wanting to upset their partners. The French brothers would buy some of the inventory back, losing money. The real problem was, though, and this is like the ticking clock that was just going to get them in the end, they were meeting the same fate as every trend. If something gets popular enough, it stops being cool. So if the entire brand is being edgy and counterculture, eventually that expires.
Right.
So the giant pants, if they ever were cool to begin with, they're now on the brink of becoming very uncool, and the brothers are starting to panic. They branch out into khakis. Is there anything worse than imagine those pants but khaki? It would look like that was the shape of your legs.
I was thinking cargo. I was like they having adding more pockets to it. I'm now at a point in my life where I have to have my keys fastened to my belt hoop because I can never find anything in the pockets. Like having these giant pockets.
Imagine if you could get all the way up to your armpit in a pocket.
Oh my God. And what's the one thing you know about me and jeans?
You like to sleep in them.
Yes. I feel like these would not be fun to sleep in because I like to be swaddled in my jeans. I like a skinny jean more than like a big jean.
These would be flapping around into oblivion.
Yeah, these are not good sleeping jeans.
Now I want you to try to sleep in a pair of JNCOs.
I just want that quote like on a billboard. These are not good sleeping jeans, Jon, on brand.
But that people would think like, well, that's good. Well, I don't need them to sleep in. And you're like, no, I mean it as a bad thing.
That's a negative. That's a major negative for me.
So when you were like writing your reviews on like Levi's.com or wherever, you're saying these jeans are great. They're so comfortable to sleep in. I love sleeping in them. Really easy to fall asleep in.
Yeah, the headline is never slept better.
You famously put on jeans to go to sleep, as we know.
Yeah, the Levi 510s.
They started marketing to teenage girls, which was never their focus before, but it was already just like the writing was on the wall. It was already done. So now we're moving away from big baggy jeans. We're moving into drawstring and cargo pants. So your unzipped shorts. Pacific Sunwear was one of the several stores that had to eventually mark down JNCOs just to clear out their inventory. Gadzooks. Remember Gadzooks?
I do.
The jeans were lowered to rock bottom prices. The skate aesthetic is now gone away, and now it is time for polo, Tommy Hilfiger, preppy. We're going into like pre-new millennium.
I love that. I love a preppy aesthetic.
A preppy aesthetic, yeah. And now the JNCOs, if they are being sold anywhere, it's at JCPenney. Which they were big sellers there, but the more kids that were turned on to JNCOs, if you're finding JNCOs out for the first time at JCPenney, other kids are now like repulsed by them. They don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole.
The only thing that I have ever bought at a JCPenney's
What?
was a XXX large blouse to use for my Barb costume,
your Barb costume
for Stranger Things.
Oh.
It was great for that.
A beautiful blouse.
And no offense to any of the brandies or brand freaks that love JCPenney's. But
I'm sure they have their in-house brand. I feel like JCPenney, I feel like they have like Jessica Simpson brand clothing. It feels like that kind of place.
100%. That's definitely we should do that as a show at some point too, because a few years ago they're like, we're going down, we need new blood, so they brought in like a guy from Apple to revamp everything, and then he started to like try to Appletize it. They're like, whoa, we don't like it, anything you're doing, and then they went back to like, it's a mess.
The logo was bad for a minute.
Yeah,
I remember that, the JCP. It was the end of an era, so now JNCOs are officially nail in the coffin, uncool.
One employee, Kim.
You can reach via email. She responds in less than 24 hours.
Oddly enough, she has a Hotmail email address.
So they were piddling along, for several years, trying to stay relevant. They would announce they were done. They would plan a comeback, announce they were done, plan a comeback. In 2018, they announced on their website, while this is the end of an era for JNCO, what JNCO stands for will continue to live on in all of our customers and fans who carry on the spirit of our brand and all it represents. Stay true, JNCO lovers. 1 year later.
Oh my God, the movie. Like, that's so good in the movie. You think it's done. Matt Damon's just got his head down. Like, he sends send on the website. It's over. He closes his laptop, fades to black. You think credits are going to roll? 1 year later.
I love it. Original founder Milo Rava announced he had reacquired the brand and intended to relaunch it alongside his daughter. The relaunch took place in June of that year, along with a new website. The jeans, JNCOs, are available online on JNCO.com. They range from like $130 to $300.
What?
The pants are still gigantic. I don't know how well they're doing. The secondhand market for vintage JNCOs is actually surprisingly robust. And on eBay, you can find true vintage 90s JNCOs also for around $300.
Well, because those people are now of an age that they have disposable income, and it's their memory. So, of course, they want to make sure they have at least a pair of JNCOs in the closet.
Mommy never let you get your JNCOs when you were
never
13.
Yeah,
so it's interesting. There's still some people who are wearing them. And I will say I see teenagers on the streets occasionally wearing giant pants, occasionally wearing JNCOs. So it's possible that there is more JNCO coming down the pipeline.
Well, I look forward to following daily. I'll add an alert to my Google to get any update from JNCO.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God for Google Alerts.
So when I was in the Wayback Machine, as I mentioned, this was a place I spent a lot of time. And it's really funny to like when your children are like yelling at you to play with them. And I have to say like to David, can you get them out of here? I'm reading a chat room from May 1999 on JNCO.com. Because it is so fun. The website was really fun. This was when like store websites would have like a chat room, like people could upload artwork and they would just like post it on their website. This was baby internet.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's so charming and so funny. And like, you can literally read a chat room screenshot from like Ghetto Pimp talking to Hot Chick. And Hot Chick says, well, I got to go in a few minutes because my dad is going to be waking up for work pretty soon. Like, it's just the best slice of history. If like you're a kid now and you wonder what 1999 was like just go to JNCO.com in the Wayback Machine.
That's amazing.
They had a fun part of their website, which was called True Stories. And they said they got an email from a guy in New York with a true life experience of how JNCO had a funny, scary, strange, outlandish, life-saving, or surreal experience while they were wearing JNCOs. Mm-hmm. And they said, email us if you have these. They got one of these by email, and then they decided to make it a whole segment on their website.
Wow.
I will read that letter to you.
I love it.
Your pants saved my life.
Sorry.
It's very serious.
No, I know. Music.
Your pants saved my life. I was walking down the street when some big-ass dog attacked me. But your wide loads saved my leg. They were so big that the dog only caught the flare of the pant leg when I tried to jump on top of a car. I got away with only minor scratches. Thanks a lot.
That's actually a very cool story. I'm glad they're okay. I was almost attacked by a dog once, so I know that fear.
Really? What pants were you wearing? Skinnies?
Probably skinnies. I was really young.
Should have had JNCOs.
I know. If only they were made then.
Isn't that fun?
That is really cool.
That's it for JNCOs. It's a wild ride. I'm sweating. I have chills. I'm crying. I can't even speak about this 1 minute longer.
I think you have spoke about it exactly as long as needs be. Wow, what a fun episode. I got to say, you really surprised me with some of these brands. I don't know much about them, but they are fun stories.
It's always fun. That's why we love doing this show. I mean, even if you have no feelings or experience with JNCO, I hope you learned a thing or two. And if you see a JNCO on the street, maybe you can educate one of these young ragamuffins about where they came from.
Yeah, if you're at a party this summer where someone's wearing JNCOs, you hopefully have a few nuggets you can throw out of trivia now.
I love that.
That's great. Well, thank you very much. This was a very fun show.
Thank you.
I have I guess I'm going to call this a brand boo.
Great.
One of my brand boos. I don't know if you've heard.
Ooh.
Not a ghost. It's never a ghost. It's a boo. Southwest Airlines. Did you hear this?
No.
So I'm new to Southwest Airlines from my recent trips to Vegas to see Adele, where I got her to sign my album in the middle of the concert.
We remember.
And what I loved about it, I had heard about it, like you don't get assigned seats. Like you have to like buy your seat. Then like at exactly 24 hours before, you have to go on the website really quick or the app, refresh it. It'll tell you pick a seat, like you pick a zone. It's a whole thing. But I kind of like the excitement of that because like now Delta like charges extra for window seats and for aisle seats and like they're getting money all over the place. At least with Southwest, you've got kind of like it's like a Hunger Games, like I can get the seat if I try hard enough.
It is wild to be a family of 4 with a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. And for an airline to say like, we're going to decide where your kid sits on the plane.
Yeah. Yeah, they just let you loose. Grab a seat. If you get 4, great. If not, Robin's sitting alone in the back.
It's just unfathomable. It's like, obviously, people should be able to sit with their people.
Well, then fly a different airline. People like us like it.
Okay.
Anyway, so what they have learned, because Delta and all these other airlines are having record profits because they are charging more for everything, including aisle seats and window seats.
Disgusting.
They are thinking about going more normal and charging like picking your seat when you buy it and stuff. And I'm up in arms about it, even though I'm brand new to the brand. I'm sure there are people that are very loyal to it that don't like it. I'm saying it's a boo. They haven't made a decision yet. I'm telling people if they don't want it, write your local congressman, write your local Southwest representative, write Kim at JNCO and tell her to reach out.
There should just be like a discount you can opt. The default should be you get to pick your own seat, but there should be a discount that you can opt in on, and it's called like you check this box for like wild style. And wild style is they just stick you wherever they stick you. So if you're like a solo traveler or you want to like fly as cheaply as possible, you can opt in on wild style. But don't make that the default for like everybody traveling with a 2-year-old who like needs to be with mommy.
I guess as a single man without children, I don't know why I need to live in a world that's catered only to you. But
enjoy your wild style discount.
I don't want a wild style. I want it, like wild style means they could stick me in the middle seat in the back.
Yeah,
I want to be in a window seat in the front. I now sit in the back in the middle because I don't have children.
Your wild
Makes
style.
no sense. That is not a brand aid. This is still a brand boo. And that's all I got for you.
Not enough free snacks on airplanes anymore either.
You know what? Okay, so I don't know what the rule is. On Delta, you can get your drink. I've really I changed the game on the plane because now
you've changed the game on the plane.
I've changed the game on the plane because now I'm so embarrassed to do it, but I do it every time.
I know what you're gonna say.
I asked for a Diet Coke unopened. Because I come prepared with my own Diet Coke in my thermos, and I want that unopened one to have when I land. So I asked for that. Sometimes they'll do it. One time she didn't want to do it. She slightly cracked it. Like, she didn't open it, but she made it do like the one, not the.
So you couldn't roll it around your messenger bag?
I couldn't throw it in my messenger bag.
Wow.
I was like, oh.
Bitch.
Game's on, bitch. Game's on. And then they offer you 3 snacks, pretzels, a granola bar. Mind you, the granola bar is the size of a stamp. The pretzels, there's 4 mini pretzels. And then the cookies, which I love.
The Biscoff?
Yeah. I feel like they want me to pick one. I say all. I would like all the snacks, please, and an unopened Coke. That's my go-to now on Delta.
That is, yeah, I'd say you changed the game on the plane.
I changed the game on the plane. It's like, my ticket is so expensive. I want it all. Give it all to me.
I don't feel bad asking for like bonus snacks, knowing that how much I paid.
I don't even think it's bonus. It's like we should get one of each.
They want to shame you. They want to make you feel guilty asking for more. They're all free. It's bottomless shrimp as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, you don't just want 4 pretzels? Oh, wow. You have a sweet tooth too? Yeah, give them all to me.
This is a 5-hour flight. This is lunch.
Now, I didn't expect to have a brand rant, but there's a brand rant. Now we're done. Episode 50 done. Speaking of episode 50, we're coming up. We're 2 episodes away from a very special 1-year birthday episode. I cannot believe we've been doing this for 50 episodes, almost 52. We've got something very special planned. We will thank all of the brandees and all the brand freaks and everyone that's been on this ride from the beginning or people that just joined us this week. But that is something for you to look forward to in 2 weeks.
Clear your calendar.
Clear your calendars.
And speaking of brand freaks, we would like to give a shout out to some brand freaks or brandies who've given us reviews on Apple Podcasts, lovely 5-star reviews. We want to say thank you to Ryan Nicole T, Lauren Elizabeth 56, Jackaroni and Cheese, and Mary with a little boba emoji. We want to say thank you. And if you haven't left us a review on Apple Podcasts, please do that right now.
And I want to give out a couple of shout outs to brand freaks. If you're not aware of this on Instagram, now you know I tried to put in Easter eggs in the show of what the next episode was going to be. That became kind of difficult. So what I've been doing on the Tuesday before an episode drops, I do an Insta egg on Instagram and our story. So you can go there. I try to come up with a clever thing that is not crazy hard, but maybe a little hard for people to try to figure out what the episode's going to be the next day. I'm going to give shout outs to the people that got it this week. If I missed your name, I apologize, but I want to give a shout out to Megan Murph and to Elaine, to Dylan Hoyt, and to Ryan Farrell, who all figured out that we were doing Tabasco.
I love that. That's so fun.
Yeah.
Make a little game of it.
Yeah.
And as always, if you like the show, please subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts. You can follow us on Instagram at OnBrandThePod or TikTok at OnBrandThePodcast. You can see behind the scenes footage. You can see clips from the show. You can see Jon's autographed Taylor Swift album and his award-worthy hummingbird photo.
I hope I can find that. I would like to. It was a stunning image.
I would die to see it.
Yeah.
As well as some JNCOs. And we will be back next week with an all-new episode.
And as you all know, we may go off topic, but we will always be on brand.
Bye.
Bye.
Find yourself looking for a new job or change in career? Monster.com is here to help. We are not only here to bring you job postings, but also AI interview prep and salary tools, expert career advice, and top-notch resume services. We've got everything you need to land your perfect job fit. Discover the magic of finding the ideal job with Monster.com. Your future starts now. Visit Monster.com today. Your next job opportunity is just a click away.